Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, May 13th. Another chilly morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region, but the tide will turn later on today and especially on Thursday and Friday in terms of temperatures as high pressure shifts off the eastern seaboard. That will promote a low-level flow of air out of the southwest to the northeast, pushing milder air into the region. By Friday afternoon, we'll have some summer-like readings at 80 or even in the low to mid 80s in the I-95 corridor region from DC to Philadelphia to New York City. It stays warmer over the upcoming weekend, but not quite as warm as what we might experience on Friday. The transition really begins tomorrow with a pretty noticeable warm up, but again, the real temperature change will move into the northeast, the mid-Atlantic region on Friday with 80 plus degrees likely. Now, so far during the month of May, it's been well below normal throughout much of the eastern two-thirds of the nation. This is a map from Weatherbell Analytics for the temperature, 2-meter temperature anomaly. So far this month, we're almost into the middle part of May, so it's pretty impressive here what we're seeing. So far this month, again, about the eastern two-thirds of the nation showing up on this particular map as blue or green. That's below normal, 2-meter temperature anomalies. Meanwhile, the southwestern states have been experiencing some warmer than normal conditions. This will shift quite a bit. This will change quite a bit over the next couple of weeks. It looks like, on average, for the second half of the month of May, it looks like warmer than normal conditions in the mid-Atlantic region, in the northeast U.S. So a lot of this will diminish, and it may actually turn a little bit cooler than normal out along the west coast over the next couple of weeks. Well, before we get to the current computer forecast model maps, I wanted to take a look at a teleconnection index that we've periodically looked at here over the last month or two, the North Atlantic Oscillation and its closely related cousin, the Arctic Oscillation. When they are negative in the springtime, that often suggests there is some cold air left in the central and eastern U.S., really a sustained period of negative NAO and AO. It usually is correlated with cold air outbreaks that make it from Canada all the way into the central and eastern U.S. And it's kind of curious here that it's not only negative now, but in general, the forecast is for it to maybe go back up to neutral, but even then, even at that point, it may come back down into negative territory. And the same thing with the Arctic Oscillation. So what this is telling me is that even though we have summer-like warmth coming on Friday here in the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S., not necessarily going to stay above normal each and every day going forward here. We may have some cold air outbreaks. They won't be as deep as what we've just gone through or as long-lasting as what we've gone through, but the NAO and its closely related cousin, the AO, still in negative territory, still some cold air around across the northern hemisphere. Well, let's take a look at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies from last night's 6Z run of the ensemble version of the GFS. And again, a chilly morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region, but for the next 5-day period, we'll certainly average out to near normal or even above normal here in much of the Mid-Atlantic region as we warm up substantially Friday and into the upcoming weekend. Again, 80 plus degrees possible on Friday for highs, DC, Philadelphia, New York City. Let's then move forward here, days 2 to 6, 3 to 7, above normal conditions, averaged out over a given 5-day period, and we're now into the certainly into the third week of the month of May. Let's keep moving forward, and here's kind of again an interesting development here. Let's say late in the weekend, early part of next week, maybe some normal or back to cooler than normal conditions along the eastern seaboard. Again, NAO, AO largely negative over the next a week to 10 days or so. That indicates there still are some cold air, cold air masses across the northern hemisphere. Still sitting down there across the southeast U.S. We're now out to days 7 to 11, and then we get back into a warmer than normal period here across much of the central and eastern U.S. all the way out, that this model goes all the way out to days 12 to 16. It's the average in the period from May 24th to May 29th, back to well above normal across much of the central and eastern U.S. Again, the main point I want to make is we will have some colder than normal days, but on average it looks like we'll be above normal for much of the remainder of the month of May in the Mid-Atlantic region, in the northeast U.S. But it's something we'll keep an eye on. It's not absolutely set in stone. When you see the NAO and the AO still kind of trending negative, and meanwhile out in the west we talk about maybe a reversal of the overall pattern there, where they've been above normal in California, for example, maybe headed for a below normal period temperature-wise for much of the second half of the month of May. Well, let's now take a look at the operational run of the GFS from 0Z last night. And one of the things we'll note here over the next few days, there will be a system off the southeastern coast of the U.S., and it very well could become a tropical system. It may start off as kind of a cold core system, but eventually it may become a warm core type of system. In order for it to be named by the National Hurricane System as a tropical system, there are certain requirements that have to be met in terms of the characteristics of the system. For example, it's a warm core type system, and we'll watch it in this region right here over the next couple of days. There absolutely will be a system. If it eventually became a named system, it would be the first one of the year, Arthur. And we talked over the past couple of weeks about many times you have an early start to the Atlantic Basin tropical season when you have a chilly spring, April, May, in the northeast U.S. And it's all because the pattern that produces the chilly weather in that part of the country also could then result in a quick start to the Atlantic Basin tropical season later in the month of May, or more typically maybe in the month of June. Now let's watch what happens here starting off today. Strong high pressure sitting right on top of the Mid-Atlantic region. Many 30s for lows this morning in the suburban areas along the I-95 corridor, with the overnight clear skies and light winds as a result of this high pressure sitting right on top of the region. But watch what happens. That shifts off the coast by tonight. That opens the door for milder air to move to the northeast from the southwest. The winds flow clockwise around highs and will push warmer air into the Mid-Atlantic region, into the northeast U.S. over the next 48 hours or so. Let's move forward here now. Here we are Thursday morning. First of all, notice this area of rain developing over the Florida Straits here. And that is kind of where this pseudo-tropical system originates here over the next 24 hours or so. Meanwhile, strong high over the western Atlantic. Look at this flow of air here right out of the Gulf of Mexico into the Ohio Valley on Thursday morning. Then we go later in the day, and that southwesterly flow of air will start to push milder air into the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S. on Thursday afternoon. We'll really start to feel the warm-up begin on Thursday afternoon, even more so than today, and that's because of this shifting high pressure to the western Atlantic. Now let's move forward here. Now, here we go now into the morning hours on Friday. It'll become windy in the Mid-Atlantic region. See these isobars here represented by the black lines kind of tighten up by Friday morning. Looks like Friday will be a day that will become windy in the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S. Those winds will be coming out of the southwest, pushing milder air into the northeast part of the nation. In fact, 80 plus degrees for highs likely on Friday afternoon in D.C., Philadelphia, and even all the way up to New York City. Let's keep moving forward here. And look at this area starting to kind of intensify here off the coast of Florida and even into the southern half of Florida. A large area of showers and embedded thunderstorms. This is the Friday evening forecast map. There will be a band of showers and thunderstorms approaching the I-95 corridor region late in the day Friday and into Friday night. It'll tend to weaken as it approaches, but nonetheless there can be a late day or nighttime shower or thunderstorm in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City on Friday. Let's move forward here. Here we go. Low pressure off the east coast of Florida here by Saturday morning. Will that become an actual tropical system? It remains to be determined, but there is a chance that this will become the first tropical storm, or tropical system, I should say, of the Atlantic Basin tropical season here. That area of showers and thunderstorms diminishes some as it moves to the south and east, and then we go into the day on Saturday night, Sunday morning, and here we go, low pressure, maybe of tropical nature here by Sunday morning. And then there's an area of moisture here out across the Midwest. It really looks like they turn a little bit cooler on Sunday with some showers moving into the Mid-Atlantic region. And watch this system right here. It continues to intensify again. The sea surface temperatures are rather warm relative to normal in this part of the Atlantic Ocean. This is the Sunday evening forecast map. Let's go all the way out now to Monday morning, and here we go. Low pressure, will it be a tropical system? Will it become a named tropical system? If so, it would be Arthur, the first one of the 2020 Atlantic Basin tropical season. Meanwhile, more showers coming to the Mid-Atlantic region. It definitely turns cooler on Sunday as compared with Friday and Saturday, partly as a result of cloud cover, but and also the increasing threat for showers later on Sunday into Sunday night, all the way into Monday morning. So a few things to watch out for. First of all, this potential tropical system off the southeastern coast by the upcoming weekend. Meanwhile, summer-like temperatures for the first time this year will arrive in the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S. on Friday, maybe 80-plus degrees. D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. It stays relatively warm on Saturday. Turns a little bit cooler, though, again on Sunday, with an increasing chance of showers by the latter part of the weekend. And one other thing we'll monitor over the next several days is the NAO and the AO, just to see if there are any more possible cold air outbreaks for the central and eastern U.S. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.